Abortion industry's proposed amendment would allow no limit abortions in Ohio. Abortions when the baby can feel pain, excruciating pain. On top of that, the same radical groups want to tear at the fabric that holds our families together. Allow our children to get abortions without our consent and remove all protections for the unborn. As parents, it's our worst nightmare.
I want to talk about abortion. Just kidding. I want to talk about the election. Yet again, oh my goodness. I want to talk about the election.
Tragic and just bad news. Bad things are happening. I'm sorry.
Folks, this wasn't my win. This was our victory. It was a victory that sends a loud, clear message. A message that candidates should run for something and not against someone. That a candidate should show vision and not sow division. And a clear statement that anger politics should end right here and right now.
Also tonight, in a very red state, the state of Kentucky, the Democratic incumbent, he beat a rising star in your party, Daniel Cameron. Cameron was also notably endorsed by Trump. He was embraced by him and embraced Trump himself. Was that a mistake on his part?
Daniel Cameron was a rising star in the Republican Party until he decided to throw his lot in with Donald Trump. I mean, let's face it, Donald Trump is political and electoral poison down ballot. Down ballot, his endorsement has led to Republican defeats in the House, in the Senate rather, and the House in 18. In 20, we lost the United States Senate and the White House. In 22, we underperformed miserably. And tonight, you're seeing us lose again. Daniel Cameron made a huge mistake by embracing Donald Trump and selling his soul to him. That's what he did. And the voters of Kentucky, very red state, as you noted, gave their verdict on politicians who sell their soul to Donald Trump.
A Democrat won the state of Kentucky. But the Republican that did the best in the state of Kentucky was a Secretary of State candidate who strongly and vocally took aim at election deniers and pounded away at them and has never once allowed any election denying in his campaign. And he won big in Kentucky last night. It's just like Georgia, where, you know, you have Georgia Republicans who crushed Donald Trump's hand-selected candidates in 22, and they did it again by being strong against election denying.
Yeah, we saw this in last year's midterms, too. The most high-profile election deniers all lost.
Oh, me, oh, my, oh. The great state of Ohio. Yes, yes, yes.
And Democrats, as you pointed out, had several victories last night in this off-election year, especially here in Ohio when it comes to women's reproductive rights.
Issue 1 will pass, putting the right to abortion in the state constitution in Ohio, with the provision that restrictions can be applied after the point of fetal viability, about 22, 24 weeks.
What we were telling people as it relates to issue 1 is it would allow them to make their own health care decisions without the interference of government or fear of being criminalized. That is the bottom line.
So 56%, 0.3% said yes, and 43.7% said no. So that was a big one as well. It looks like abortion.
In a resounding, issue 1 was on the ballot.
What do you think the Republicans need to do with their abortion messaging?
Well, I think it's their overall message in general. You got to talk directly to the people. You got to give and take on some issues. It looks like the majority of Americans don't like the rape and incest thing.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, I haven't done a quick show of hands. Let's incest, anyone?
Abortion rights wins again. Women want the right to health care, to make their own decisions for them. We saw that in Ohio with a huge win there in a state that has trended red.
Now, I don't know if it's coattails or if people actually do care about it, But it seems like abortion kind of was a theme throughout the day.
Really going to be honest about this, and I consider myself pro-life, but I understand that's not where the country is. I would say first trimester or Dobbs 15 weeks seems to be where the country is, Kaylee. I want to stay with you on this issue. And these issues will be decided by the states. You talked to the Speaker of the House. I talked to the Speaker of the House. It is not going to be an issue in the House of Representatives. This is not going to be decided any longer in Washington, D.C. The states will decide.
And in the swingiest of swing states, Ohio, which has the proud distinction of picking the winner of every presidential campaign, which just means they're fucking full of shit. Well, they used to be. Because it seems like something has changed.
It says 68% said that the abortion issue was extremely or very important, and only 32% said that it was moderate or not important.
It's nearly 7 in 10. Republicans have to figure out what their messaging is, like Brian was saying, in order to go forward in the next election. We looked at this midterm election as a way to gauge how Republicans or how Democrats react going forward for 2024. So Republicans need to look at all of these numbers and really think about what's more important. Yes, most people that are Republicans are probably pro-life, and we love our babies, and I love being a mother, but what's most important? Republicans taking over and Republicans being able to keep our country.
56 to 43, that's not even close. Ooh, better look out, Jim Jordan. I wonder if you're going to get reelected. You've had a tough time of late.
Ohio last night became the 24th state in the union to legalize cannabis for recreational use. And it's about time. The Wright brothers are from Ohio. Neil Armstrong is from Ohio. People from Ohio know how to get high. And not only is the word high in the name of the state, even the Ohio state flag has a red eye staring into nothing.
It comes down to the question of abortion, and Americans, as we have seen, once again, the predominant issue across the board was abortion.
Don't forget all these campaigns were financed by the Federalist Society. Oh, you know, George Soros is financing. Yeah, the Republicans are financed by the most right-wing bunch of rich industrialist scumbags ever. And the sons of the John Birch Society, the Koch brothers.
As a party, number one, expose the extremity of the left. Number two, pass legislation. Tomorrow, I want the House of Representatives passing legislation for men to pay women child support from the moment of conception.
Not to mention all of the casino owners that prop Republicans up with cash. The scummiest of billionaires in America prop up Republicans. Democrats are for the people.
Legislation apply to the unborn. These are things that can be done today.
I consider myself pro-life. I believe in the sanctity of life, but I think politically that Republicans have got to say, as Bill Clinton once said, I never thought I'd quote him, rare, legal, and I'd add the word very early in a pregnancy. That seems to be politically where the country is. Saw the vote in Ohio, and I will tell you that if you look at Doug Mastriano and Tudor, even your race, I would argue that people that have very restrictive views on abortion, unlike, say, Mississippi has 15 weeks, that was the Dobbs decision, that anything less than that, the fear among many conservatives is this will chase away many suburban voters.
Now I hear Sean Hannity saying 15-week ban. You know, that's where the country is.
There you go.
Well, and you know, that's what happened in Ohio.
Yep.
A 10-year-old girl has to flee the state after getting raped by an illegal immigrant. She has to flee the state because
it's different in Ohio now.
It's
thanks
different.
to last night.
You're right. It's different in
Virginia, Ohio,
now.
Kentucky. The big story.
The message is very strong on this. They've won over women. We saw it. We just saw it in Ohio. We have to start fighting on the cultural side of it, and we have to fight on the issues that matter to people politically on the political side in a different way.
Well, in Virginia, That doesn't seem to be the case.
It said that Glenn Youngkin was trying to go with this sort of approach, reasoned approach, and Caddy talked to a Trump person who said, "Oh, he's going to be moderate on abortion." No, and you can see him trying to do that, right? Here's the only problem: got clip after clip after clip of Donald Trump bragging, "I was the one that killed Roe v. Wade. I killed Roe v. Wade. I put the judges in that took away the right for abortion. I destroyed Roe v. Wade." And it's all over the place. And so Donald Trump should expect to see all of these victims of rape, all of these victims, these women who were bleeding out because they couldn't get treatment because of Donald Trump.
Literally.
And because of Leonard Leo. And because of Leonard Leo's Supreme Court. Because of the radicals on the Supreme Court. He can expect to see those girls who had to flee the state when they were raped by an illegal immigrant. Those girls who had to flee the state because they were raped by a member of their own family.
The problem is Republicans have done a very pitiful job of explaining that the difference is we want to protect life. Democrats want to take it right up to the point of birth.
We saw it play a big role in Virginia, which is really potentially.
Oh, Virginia, you lovely lady. She raised her skirt to the Democrats and showed a little bit of ankle. And I want everybody to pay attention to what happens in a place like Virginia.
Women who were told they need to bleed out in a parking lot rather than get treatment.
Told that the doctors were afraid to even provide life-saving care to them because they might get arrested because of Donald Trump, because of Leonard Leo, because of Leonard Leo's radical Supreme Court. All of those young women whose lives have been made a living and breathing hell because of Donald Trump and that list of people, Donald Trump can expect, and he should expect, and he deserves to expect, to hear that throughout 2024, along with a clip that said, "Yeah, I was the one who killed Roe v. Wade."
Everybody just love Glenn Youngkin. That man looks like he came out of Back to the Future, the nerdy remake. I mean, what in the hell is this? Oh, he's folksy. No, he's a scum-sucking right-wing piece of shit. And the Virginians said so.
You know, it does seem like the Republican Party generally has a real problem with winning. It certainly was in the midterms here and now in this one as well. And you wonder, do we have the right people in place to be putting the messaging together to the people that are supposed to be there to get the early vote out, to do these jobs? You wonder about the RNC. Do we have the right people running the show? Because
with the ultimate goal of having more people voting for Republican candidates, but it's not been enough.
He was going to guarantee this 15-week ban. That's as far as we're going to go, and I know that's what the people of Virginia want. Not only did the Democrats increase their room in the House, but we locked up the Senate. Glenn Youngkin may have just ended his political career. He damn sure won't be around this cycle. I'll bet you he won't be around for the next one.
As we presented our strategy and what we will absolutely deliver for Virginians, we wanted to be really clear that I support a bill to protect life.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Donald Trump Museum, dedicated to Hill Valley's #1 citizen and America's greatest living folk hero, the one and only Donald Trump.
I got rid of Roe v. Wade.
I'm the one that got rid of Roe v. Wade.
But the reality is the Federalists have been stacking the court for years. 2/3 of all the federal judges are radical right-wing Republicans. 1/3 of them were appointed by George Bush, and 1/3 of them were appointed by Donald Trump. Even though they haven't won a presidential election, what is it, 1 out of the last 8? Is it 9? Democrats win elections, Republicans are losing elections, and Republicans have no idea why that could be.
I was able to do it, and I was very honored to do it.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form. There, of course, remains a vital role for the federal government in protecting unborn life.
10-year-old girl who was raped had to leave the state to go get that fetus out of her. A 10-year-old girl. Ohio has spoken. How about that messaging? Can you hear it?
Has ever done more for right to life than Donald Trump. Roe v. Wade, they won. They finally won.
The Iowa bill was signed, and they wouldn't have been able to do anything if I wasn't able to do what I did.
You want to know how that could be? Let's go down to Kentucky.
And then look at the state of Kentucky, where Daniel Cameron, the attorney general, had backed for a long time until just recently a law that does not provide exceptions for rape or incest. And remember, there was that incredibly moving ad from the Bashir campaign of a very young woman, a girl effectively, who'd been raped by her stepfather. And said, really? Really? You're going to prevent me? I have to carry that baby? So that was a young woman named Hadley who put out that ad. Governor Bashir last night thanked her for her courage for coming forward to make that ad. And Daniel Cameron was totally thrown off by that. He said, my heart goes out to that young woman. My gosh, that's terrible. But here's the policy. No exceptions for rape or incest. Yeah, that Daniel Cameron, the Republican, a rising star in the Republican Party, was backed by Donald Trump in the state of Kentucky, ran a tough race, and lost by 5 points. The Democrat, the governor, Andy Bashir, won very, very impressively last night. Remember, last time around, he won by 0.4 of a point. Last night, Governor Bashir, the Democrat in the state, Donald Trump won by 26 points.
Wow.
Trump won by 26 points, winning handily by 5 points.
Oh, look how shiny he is. Cameron's our boy. A black Republican man, they're going to eat that up. Not if he's a right-wing scum-sucking piece of shit. And Cameron? Oh my goodness.
All across the country, Republicans again falling down on this issue that they so wanted, they so craved, overturning Roe versus Wade. They got it 18 months ago, and they continue to pay for it politically.
Reality is, election deniers lost. Abortion activists lost. People who support activist judges lost. Republicans lost. In a state that went 26% for Donald Trump, a Democrat just got reelected as governor by 5 percentage points.
Steve?
In this county, yeah.
Did you say that's coal country?
Traditionally, that's the eastern coal country of Kentucky.
So you're talking basically about West Virginia. I mean, West Virginia, people don't remember now, but West Virginia was a Democratic state. And then turn of the century, our century, it started to shift. And Donald Trump's best state was in West Virginia. I am curious, what can Andy Bashir teach other Democrats about winning in coal country?
Are we done here? I'm trying to reach out to my conservative brethren. MAGA is not good. The country doesn't like it. It is bad. They are bad people.
In a lot of, I think, sleazy political maneuvers, packed the court and has a court that is deeply conservative and unrepresentative of the rest of the country.
Y'all seem to be the only ones that don't know that.
And they overturned a 50-year precedent that 73% of Americans were against being overturned. And the political ramifications just keep coming, whether it's in Kansas, whether it's in Kentucky, whether it's in Wisconsin, whether it's you name it, everywhere. Abortion, the rights of women to make healthcare choices keep winning in state after state after state after state, and election after election after election. And at this point, you would really think Republicans would get it, but they don't.
And of course, a 12-year-old girl may have thrown this election. Because it's not about what you think is right or morals or the book or whatever. Sometimes it's just about A 12-year-old girl. A 12-year-old girl who was raped by her stepfather. Republicans stacked the courts. They stacked them high. They stacked them fully. But it's a stack of cards. And the slightest wind will blow it down. As it should.
The bottom line, no matter what happens with those two other seats, the Democrats are going to have outright control of the House of Delegates, and they're going to have outright control of the state Senate. And as you say, the goal for Youngkin was the exact opposite, to retain control of the House of Delegates and to gain control of the state Senate.
And there's a wind blowing. That wind is women. And I don't know how else to say it. Nothing blows like a good woman. Maybe if I put it in those terms, Republicans might actually get the message. How's that messaging for you? Abortion is going to destroy y'all. And your courts are going to be overpowered by the legislature.
Not only did Democrats hold the Senate, but they flipped the House in a blow to Glenn Youngkin, who, by the way, even 24 hours ago, people were saying, if this goes well, maybe he hops in the presidential race. I think that's
Those numbers are incredible.
Yeah.
Democrats were lining up to run and challenge Joe Biden before the 2022 midterm because they were sure the red wave was going to be so terrible. They were lining up, they were calling around, they were getting their finances in order, and then boom, once again, Joe Biden's underestimated. 2023, boom, the same thing happens again. You can go back to the 2020 elections. We say it all the time. After Iowa, Biden's too old, Biden's out. After New Hampshire, Biden's too old, Biden's out. After Nevada, Biden's too old, Biden's out. Then he comes into South Carolina, he picks up an endorsement, and he crushes the rest of the field, and he's president of the United States, despite the fact that Donald Trump and all of his allies said he's too old, he's campaigning in his basement, he's too old. Boom. He wins again. It just keeps happening.
And we will fight this to the very end. Because I have 2 daughters, and nobody fucks with my little girl. Y'all take it easy. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. I think a lot of people agree with that. Republicans, you might want to get the message.
Share in the excitement of a fabulous winning streak that earned him the nickname, the luckiest man on earth. Learn how Trump parlayed that lucky winning streak into the vast empire called the Trump Organization.
Just look at what we were up against. 5 super PACs. My opponent's super PAC, Mitch McConnell's super PAC, Rand Paul's super PAC, the Club for Growth, the Republican Governors Association, all running ads full of hate and division. And you know what? We beat them all at the same time.
Successfully lobbied to legalize gambling and turned Hill Valley's dilapidated courthouse into a beautiful casino hotel.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.